Special thanks to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring today's video.
Hello, and welcome back to True Summer Knits. My name is Maddie. Today I am back with the monthly pattern releases video. Every month I release a video where I talk about all of my favorite patterns that came out that month, and this month is no different. So I have 17 items that I want to show you today. It's been a really good month for pattern releases, I feel like. I feel like we're finally in actual sweater season. I'm sure for some of you it's been there sooner, but I feel like October is that kind of weird transitionary month, and now that we're getting to the beginning of December and, you know, the end of November, things are finally becoming colder. Last year I didn't get to knit much during the cold weather season. It becomes spring pretty fast here, and I only really started knitting in December. So this year I'm really taking the time to explore different fibers and constructions of yarn and patterns that I really did not get to try last year. It's really nice to be able to branch out into different kind of wools and cold weather fibers. And if you're like me and you really like experimenting with new yarns, fibers, patterns, constructions, you will really like today's sponsor, Hooks and Needles. Hooks and Needles is an incredible subscription box designed for knitters and crocheters and all kinds of crafters. Whether you're a beginner or more experienced, there's something in every box to inspire you and challenge you. They have 3 different types of subscription boxes every month. They have the knitting box, the crochet box, and the amigurumi box. I know a lot of you are knitters, but if you've been curious about trying crochet and you haven't known where to start, this would be a great way to dip your toes in. They curate each box to include high-quality European yarns, which are my favorite kinds of yarns. They have patterns suitable for all skill levels, tools you need for all the patterns included, and a surprise gift. My surprise gift this month was these little stitch markers. I'll have to include a better picture, but they have all these crafty little shapes. They're metal, like a needle, a sewing machine, scissors. They're just adorable, and I've put them on every project I have that includes stitch markers. That's how much I love them. But another thing that really stood out is how accessible the patterns are. They're very clear. They have pictures for everything. They're really detailed instructions, so you can learn all the techniques if there are things you haven't learned before. And if you're more of a visual learner, they also have tutorial videos for every single pattern, and they are super detailed and well made. No matter what your skill level is, you can learn the techniques required for these patterns. Again, my favorite thing is just that it pushed me to try fibers and colors that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards. Like, the box they sent me has this gradient yarn in it. It's like a rainbow blown gradient yarn, and obviously this is not something I would normally choose for a garment, but I've always thought these different colors yarns would be fun to knit, so I cast on a little project bag that I'm currently making, and it's a really fun time. It's really fun to see the colors change. I've never knit with a blown yarn, so I just like that it's helping me step out of my comfort zone. Hooks and Needles is extremely flexible. You can pause and resume at any time, and if you just want to switch things up, you can cancel. Totally easy. The delivery is super fast, and they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so completely risk-free. Another bonus is the amazing community that they've built. They have a Facebook group with 6,500 people in it. You can share your projects, ask questions, meet people, just talk to other people that are into crafty things like you. And it's super supportive, so if this sounds as exciting to you as it did to me, you can go to the link in my description to subscribe, and if you use my code SummerKnits20, you can get 20% off. They also have a bunch of great Black Friday and Christmas deals, so this would be the perfect time to gift yourself or a crafter in your life a box, because it truly feels like Christmas every month. Thank you to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring today's video, and let's get on to November's patterns. The first pattern we are going to talk about today is the Honeydew cardigan. It's kind of like a jacket type thing. It doesn't have any buttons, so it's not meant to be closed, but this is a really pretty cardigan. It does have literally like a honeycomb type stitch. I'm not really sure how it's constructed or how this stitch is made. It's weird because she has it tagged as cables, but I don't know where you would have cables. But it's really beautiful. I personally love just open cardigans that don't have like a crew neck. I always wear my cardigans open either way, so ones that don't need to be buttoned or don't look better when they're closed are the type that I really like. She knits hers with drops Lima held together with drops brushed alpaca silk, and she calls that a DK weight. The gauge is 22 stitches per 4 inch. Drops Lima is a DK weight, and drops brushed alpaca silk is, they call it like an Aran weight, but it's hard to say because it's mostly just a string of fluff, you know what I mean? Now the thing with this pattern is it is knit bottom up in pieces, which I know is not preferred for most people, but I do think this is a really nice design. I love the color she chose. I love the texture. You know that honeycomb fabric must just be super squishy and warm, but yeah, so you have to seam this together, but other than that, it seems like you're pretty much just working the stitch pattern the entire way through. I'm guessing this is one of those kind of stitch patterns where it doesn't feel too much different working it on the back, on the wrong side than the front side, and it looks like all the edges are done in twisted rib. And it's knit on 4.5mm needles with 4mm needles for the ribbing. It does have a more limited size range. It comes in extra small to extra large. And this is by Caitlin Whitman. It costs $8 USD. The next pattern is probably one of my favorite patterns on this whole list. This is the Angelica pullover by Solvara Knitwear, who is a designer that I have talked about before on this channel. I think I talked about her in one of my summer pattern videos. It's a crew neck that has these alternating cables in between these stockinette panels, so it's kind of got like a ribbed look. It is so beautiful. It reminds me a lot of the Haru sweater by, I can't remember the designer, but it's got a similar, that might be Knits by Summer, I'm not sure. But this is also knit bottom up, that's not knit in pieces, it's knit in the round. And it is a raglan design, so instead of doing raglan increases, you're going to be doing raglan decreases. I think the raglan is a really good choice for this pattern because I feel like some raglans, they stand out, like you can really see the raglan line, and sometimes that's a design choice, but on this one I feel like it just blends in and it looks really nice because you don't have that seam on the sleeves from like a drop shoulder, and the raglan just kind of blends in with everything, so it almost looks just like it's seamless or there's no construction at all, if you know what I mean. She knit hers in Rauma Final Garn, which is a sport weight 100% wool yarn, and it's knit on 4mm needles and 3mm needles for the ribbing, and it has a lot of sizes. This is a really good size range. It comes in 13 sizes, from extra small to 5XL, but she's got like multiple extra smalls, multiple smalls. It's interesting. She has really got a big range on this pattern. The only other thing she mentions is that the neckline is worked with short rows, but other than that, it seems pretty simple construction-wise. It is just an all-over cable design, so you have to be ready to sign up for that. The gauge is 27 stitches and 32 rows in the cable pattern, and it is 50 Danish kroner, which I think comes out to about $7.36. The next pattern is by a big designer, which I don't usually include big designers in these pattern roundups, but I'm just talking about November releases that I like, and this is one of them. This is the Waffle loop cardigan by Other Loops. I really like Other Loops designs. I have 2 of her designs on the needles right now, and I like all of her waffle texture designs that she does. She's got a few of them, I think. So this is a DK weight crew neck cardigan. She does a fingering weight and a mohair held together, like a lot of her patterns. She recommends Isager tweed and their Isager silk mohair, or Focolana Saga and Focolana Tilia. It's knit on 4mm needles, and like a lot of Other Loops designs, the size range is a little more limited. It comes in 6 sizes, extra small to XXL. And again, it's a crew neck cardigan, which when I was talking about the honeydew cardigan, I mentioned that I don't really like, mostly because, at least with me, I feel like a crew neck cardigan has to be worn closed. If you wear it open, the neck kind of looks weird, and especially if you are, whatever you're wearing underneath it, if it's at all comes up close to your neck, then it's going to be visible and it looks weird to me. I do like the way she styled it though, where she's got it closed with a turtleneck, but I don't know. If a cardigan's meant to be worn closed, I feel like I'd rather just make a sweater. So that's why I usually prefer V-neck sweaters or V-neck cardigans, but it is a beautiful design either way, my preference aside. If you have any styling tips for crew neck cardigans, feel free to comment below and let me know, because I've never been able to pull them off. This is worked top down, although for some reason she tagged it on Ravelry as bottom up, but from her description of the construction, it's definitely top down. You cast on just for the back neck, and then you're doing increases to shape the shoulders instead of, you know, like short rows like a lot of patterns do. Then you're picking up for the shoulders and the front, you're working the front, and then eventually you are connecting the front and the back together. It's a cardigan, so it's knit flat, and then you're just going to be knitting the sleeves in the round, and all of the hems and the button band is done in 1x1 rib. It's meant to have a positive ease of 25 centimeters. In the photo that she used, she says that she has 27 centimeters of positive ease. And this pattern is 60 Danish kroner, which I do not know exactly what the conversion is, but I'll put it on this. This next pattern is a work of art. So beautiful. This is the Lupine blouse. This is a pattern by Slow Knits, or the designer's name is Alina Maria. In this pattern, you hold a silk mohair with a lace weight. She uses Issachar Trio 1, which I believe is cotton, linen, and viscose, and it is lace weight. It's just so lightweight. The lace is beautiful. The mohair is just such a good choice for this. I just think this is a really beautiful sweater, and I definitely feel like it'd be warm, you know, because of the mohair, but also it'd be lightweight because of all the lace and the Trio 1, or just a lace weight kind of plant fiber-y yarn. Of course, you could use just like a lace weight, maybe like merino and silk blend or something, but that is just the yarn she used. It looks amazing in this light blue that she did her sample in. The lace doesn't look too complicated, but at least to construct, but it looks very complex as just something to look at. And it does have a turtleneck, and it's kind of got like a slouchy, oversized fit. The gauge is 29 stitches and 29 rows in the lace pattern. You could probably also just use a fingering weight yarn for this if you wanted to, but I feel like the fuzz and the kind of shininess of the lace weight and the silk mohair really add a lot to this pattern. So I feel like you would get something different if you didn't use a similar yarn combination to the one that she uses, but it's knit on 3.5mm needles and 3mm for the ribbing, and it comes in 9 sizes, extra small to 5XL. She makes it very clear that this pattern has been professionally tech edited and tested, so that's good to know. It's worked seamlessly from the top down with European style drop shoulders. I don't know what European style means. I know what drop shoulders mean, but gonna try to zoom in a little closer to see if I can get an idea of what's different about it. There is a raglan-like line on the back of the shoulders, and then the sleeves drop down pretty far down her arm. I'm not sure if the European part is just how the shoulders are slanted towards the back, but that's kind of what I'm used to for drop shoulders, so I'm not sure. If you have more information on this European style that he's talking about, please let me know, because I would love to learn more about what that means. You cast on at the back neck, you're working the upper back and shaping the shoulders with increases. Then you pick up stitches for the shoulders and you work back and front to shape the neckline and the upper front. And then once you've worked to the underarms for both the front and the back, you connect it in the round, body's knit in the round. Then you pick up for the sleeves, and the sleeves are worked in 2x2 rib as well as the turtleneck. But it drops down really low, so like you're only knitting basically this much of your arm for sleeve, which is interesting. But this is a really beautiful design. I'm obsessed with this design. It is so beautiful. I want one in the exact baby blue color that she uses. The next pattern I have is the Charlie blouse, which is a mohair design done in all over rib. She calls it farmer's rib. I don't really know what that means, but she says it's easier than fisherman's rib, and it looks like fisherman's rib. It's very oversized and flowy. The mohair is going to give it a lot of drape. Kind of reminds me silhouette-wise of like the blouse number 1, although it's definitely less of a boat neck, but it kind of has a boat neck. It's like a boat crew neck mixture. It's knit on 4mm needles. You also need 3.5 and 3mm needles. And again, it's a lace weight pattern because of the silk mohair. It doesn't specify whether you're holding any strands together. Okay, it does. You're holding 2 strands of mohair together. It's worked top down, but there's not much more information on the construction. It looks like a drop shoulder. It's got the slanted shoulders at the back. So construction-wise, it looks pretty basic, but the pattern is really beautiful, and it just looks really comfy and oversized. I definitely feel like this would be a good one to knit in like a strand of seri alpaca instead of mohair, just because it's a little denser and would feel really soft against your skin for an all mohair design. And this pattern is 50 Danish kroner. It comes in 5 sizes from extra small to 4XL, but she does bind some of the sizes together. It seems like it has a lot of positive ease, so I feel like there's kind of room to play around with sizing there, but she doesn't specify how much positive ease she has designed this sweater for. And this is a pattern by Le Knit. I've got another pattern by a bigger designer. This is a Sari Nordlund pattern. I'm not gonna lie, I don't usually gravitate towards Sari Nordlund patterns. Nothing wrong with her designs, they're just not usually my style. But I really like this one. It's very royal and princessy. It's an all-over lace pattern with these big lace panels down the front, and then these like honeycomb cable stripes on the side of them, and then it looks like the sleeves are done in moss stitch, and then again you have that lace panel going down the sides of the sleeves. This is called the Rosenlund pullover. It's named after a part of Finland, it seems. She uses Concept by Cardigan Merino 100%, which is a DK weight yarn. The gauge is 22 stitches by 28 rows, and that's in moss stitch on 3.5mm needles. You need 3.5mm needles for most of it, and then 3mm needles for the ribbing. It has 9 sizes, and that's ranging from a finished bust measurement of 37.5 inches to 69 inches. Like a lot of the patterns that I'm talking about today, for whatever reason, it's a drop shoulder where you cast on for the back neck, and you work increases to shape the shoulders. The increases are all charted. It's a lot of charts for this pattern with all the lace and cables and everything. Then once you've knit the upper back, you pick up for the shoulders, work the front pieces, connect the front and the back, and then you work the body in the round. You pick up stitches for the neckband, you knit the neckband. It looks like the neckband's done in twisted rib, and then the neckband is folded down, so it's a folded neckband. She says it's meant to have about 8 inches of positive ease, which sounds about right to me. I feel like it's a good amount. It doesn't look too tight, but it's not necessarily oversized. And she says you can also work this with a fingering weight and a mohair held together, which with lace designs like this I feel like always look good, especially because sometimes when you have lace designs with eyelets, you can worry about it being see-through, but I feel like the mohair, since it fills in the gaps, you can still see that lace, but it helps make it a little bit more opaque, if you know what I mean. But this pattern is $6.90 in euros. This next pattern is really cool looking. It kind of reminds me of the Jenny sweater or Jenny jacket. It's got that smock stitch, but it's a circular yoke where the entire yoke is done in that smock stitch that slowly kind of fades into stockinette with the rest of the sweater. It's a bulky weight knit. She uses Camero's Snefnug, which is a bulky weight blown yarn. I bet you could probably use like Drops Air or any other kind of blown yarn. The gauge is 14 stitches by 20 rows in stockinette, and it's knit on 6mm and 5.5mm needles. So even though it's got, you know, somewhat of a complex design up at the top, I imagine this would be a pretty quick knit because of the gauge, and you'd probably get through the smock stitches pretty fast. I've been swatching for my Jenny jacket, and I've learned that the smock stitch looks very complex, but it's really not complex at all. This comes in 7 sizes from extra small to 3XL. It does have a turtleneck, and she kind of works decreases. It looks like she works decreases around the cuff to kind of give it a pulled in look for the sleeves, but it's not enough that it's like a balloon sleeve. It's a very elegant looking sweater. I think it's really beautiful, really feminine, and I'm just a big fan of this one. The designer is Trine Bertelsen, and it costs €6. This next pattern is a really cute tie front cardigan. It's just an open cardigan that has a couple of ties in the middle, kind of like the Solène cardigan by Mareka Knits, but it's got these little tiny ribbed detail about, I think, where the waist would hit. It kind of gives it some definition, or it's like kind of like an empire, like right under the bust. I just think this is really cute. I feel like This could be a very like trendy kind of design. I could see like some young TikToker wearing it and styling it really uniquely. And I'm just a big fan of it. It's simple, but very effective. She recommends a lot of different yarns for this, but generally it looks like she's holding a fingering weight and a mohair held together, and it looks like it's a pretty loose gauge. The gauge is only 16 stitches by 24 rows, so I'm guessing it's just very lightweight, very drapey. If you zoom in, it definitely does look like the stitches are a little wider, but it's really beautiful. It's definitely similar to the Solène cardigan, but I feel like it's a little more artsy than the Solène cardigan. Not that either is better than the other, I just think it kind of gives off a different look. Comes in 8 sizes with a finished bust measurement of 98 to 132.5 centimeters. You need 6.5 millimeter needles, 5 millimeter needles, and 4.5 millimeter needles. But it's worked top down, it's all worked flat except for the sleeves. It's seamless, and then you're knitting the little I-cords for the ties. It's really cute, very simple. The next pattern is the Arconia sweater by Knits by Lillian. Knits by Lillian is a YouTuber. I watch her videos. I really like her. And she's started coming out with some patterns. I think she's already come out with patterns in the past, but these are the first ones I'm seeing by her. So this is a sweater based on Only Murders in the Building. If you haven't seen that show, you gotta check it out. Me and River love that show, although we've not seen season 3 or are they in season 4 now? We've only seen seasons 1 and 2. I'm not even sure if we finished season 2. It was a while ago. This is an all-over colorwork, stranded colorwork pattern. It's a raglan. For some reason, this pattern has no description on Ravelry. I don't know why, but it's kind of got like one of those houndstooth or herringbone patterns. I feel like houndstooth is the right word, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a worsted weight pattern. She recommends either Brooklyn tweed or Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock worsted. The gauge is 19 stitches and 21 rows in the colorwork pattern, and it's knit in 4 millimeter needles. This pattern comes in 10 sizes. I don't know the bust measurements because this pattern does not have a description, but it's a cropped, oversized pattern. She also has fitted, tagged, I don't know, a description would very much help me right now, but I'm just going based on the tags and what I can see in the photos. It's definitely a raglan, and it looks like it's knit in the round. There are short rows, I'm assuming, for the back neck. The ribbing looks to be 2x2 ribbing on the edges and the neckline. Or no, the neckline is twisted rib, and the hem is 2x2 rib, and the sleeve cuff is 1x1 rib. I'm pretty sure that's right. But this is a really cute sweater. I love that show, and I think it's really cute that she was inspired by the show to make this, because the main character, Mabel, she's like always knitting. She always knits these big bulky sweaters. It's really cute. But this pattern is $7.50 USD. She came out with another pattern this month. This is the Beachside cardigan. It's a cardigan, all over lace texture cardigan. It's really pretty. It's like V-neck. The lace looks very simple. It's just got this kind of wavy leaf type lace. It looks like it's all just maybe left leaning decreases and some eyelets. It looks very simple. I don't think it would be difficult at all to get the hang of this pattern, although it is a cardigan, so everything is knit flat. It is knit bottom up. The body is knitted all in one piece. You start with the ribbed hem, and then it's a modified drop shoulder, so you're splitting for the front and the back. I'm assuming doing some decreases for the armholes, and then getting up to the shoulders. And then she says there are optional short rows for the tops of the shoulders. And if there are ever optional short rows for shaping, just do them. Always do the short rows. It'll be worth it every time. And then the sleeves are worked in the round, and then you pick up all your stitches for a ribbed button band at the very end. And for this one, the button band also looks like it's in 2x2 rib. This is an Aran weight knit, and she knits hers in a cotton Aran weight. It's Blue Sky Fibers organic cotton, and her gauge is 15 stitches by 24 rows in stockinette. She knits hers on 5.5 millimeter needles with 5 millimeter needles for all of the ribbing. And again, this pattern comes in 10 sizes. She has very good range for her sizes in her patterns. And this pattern is $9 USD. So now I've got another lace cardigan pattern. This is the Slingy cardigan by Evelyn Ciatra. She describes this as a beautiful and elegant cardigan, which I agree with. I think it is really pretty. I love the way she styles it with the high neck tee with the cardigan on top of it. I do feel like that looks very, very elegant and classy. The lace is kind of done in these panels, so it almost looks like a type of rib, and the lace work is very open, so it definitely would be like a cooler cardigan, as in like it would be a little more breathable because of the eyelets. And the yarn she uses is actually a mixture of nettle and merino, so that kind of lends itself to the more lightweight, breathable type of fabric. I don't know what nettle is. I'm assuming that's kind of like some kind of rayon or viscose processed yarn. I'm not sure, but the lace looks relatively simple. It comes off super beautiful, and then it looks like the button band is all double knitted. This pattern is also knit bottom up. A bunch of patterns this month are knit bottom up for whatever reason, and it looks like it's knit mostly in pieces and it's seamed together. I'm not sure if the sleeves are knit in the round. I think they're just knit flat, but I love patterns of that kind of filigree lace. Kind of, you have to be wearing the right outfit to pull it off, but when you're wearing the right outfit, that kind of lace just looks so beautiful and classy and elegant. Words I've said a million times during this segment. It comes in sizes extra small to 5XL, which means it has 9 sizes. And it's meant to have about 6 inches of positive ease, so definitely not oversized, but not too fitted. Just enough ease to wear over something simple, like something not too thick. Finished bust measurements go from 32 inches to 63.5 inches. She's got a few different gauges listed, but the easiest gauge to reference is the stockinette stitch gauge. It's 28 stitches by 30 rows, so this is kind of like a fingering weight pattern. She used, again, like I said, that nettle yarn, and it is a fingering weight pattern, and she knits this on 3mm needles, and this pattern costs $12 in Canadian dollars. This designer also has another pattern that came out this month that I would like to talk about, and this is the only one that's less fall winter themed. It's like just a top pattern. This is the pendant top, which again, it kind of has that filigree type lace. It kind of gives me like an Art Deco vibe with the kind of geometric type lace up at the top. It's like a boat neck design. It's super pretty. I want to make this for myself maybe in the spring. My winter plans are all full, but I really like this design. This is also knit in a nettle yarn, but it's a DK weight yarn, and the gauge is 20.5 stitches by 27.5 rows and stockinette. Most of the top is just stockinette except for the lace at the top. It really does give me like an Art Deco feel. I really like this one. I like it with a little bit of positive ease the way she's wearing it, where it's kind of flowier on the waist. That definitely helps give it the boxy 20s flapper look. This is also worked bottom up in pieces and seamed together, which probably isn't too bad because it's just 2 pieces and you're just seaming together the shoulders and the side. And it also comes in 9 sizes from extra small to 5XL. This is a little bit more fitted. It's meant to have 4 inches of positive ease. The other model she used actually has 3 or 4 inches of negative ease, and I don't like it with negative ease. I definitely think it looks better with a little bit of positive ease. But the finished bust measurements go from 29.75 inches to 63 inches. This is just a really pretty top. I definitely want to make this for myself at some point in the next year or so. So those are all the garment patterns I have. Now I've got a few sock patterns. For whatever reason, there was a lot of nice sock patterns that came out this year. The first one is the Scylla socks. It's got this kind of ribbed lace look with a lot of stockinette panels that make it look really nice and elegant. She's got a longer sample and more of an ankle length sample. The cuff is done in twisted ribbing, which is my favorite way to do a sock cuff. Of course, she has a gauge and she recommends fingering weight yarn, but if you're anything like me, I have never swatched for a sock a day in my life, and I never will. The pattern includes charts for 3 different variants of socks. It looks like the lace is slightly different for different ones, so you've got some good options. And it's only $6.50, so for 3 sock patterns, essentially, that's a good price. The heel is a horseshoe heel with short rows and garter stitch, which is a construction I've never done before. I don't know what a horseshoe heel is. So if you're looking to try out some new heel constructions, this would be a good option. Try to get a good picture of it. It does kind of look, it's ribbed a little bit. That's interesting. And that pattern is by Marina Charshina. I have another pattern by that designer. This is the Lupine socks, which is just these really pretty ankle all over cabled socks. The way she does the cables is just really pretty. I love that kind of raised texture you get when you do cabled socks. I feel like this would look really good in like a tweedy sock yarn. I've been trying to find a good tweed sock yarn, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know. I got the 52 Weeks of Socks book, and there's this one pattern that's done in tweed, and I want to do it, but I've never tried a tweed sock yarn before. This, just like the other pattern, this pattern has just one size. I believe it's meant to fit 2.5 to 10 US. Don't know, that's vague, but I think there's only one size. I am really not sure. This heel is a strong heel with a pattern on the heel. And by that she means the cables kind of go down the back of the heel. Then I've got the Gilded Pages socks, which are these very classy, vintagey socks. Very simple, it's a lot of garter stitch, and then these little lace panels. And I really like the little line of contrast thread or contrast yarn that she has. This designer comes up with a lot of pretty stuff. She's got like Secret Garden gloves and Secret Garden socks, Secret Garden beanie. She's got a really interesting vintage design. She's done a pair of socks that I really liked and I've talked about in one of these videos before. I just really like her style and I want to knit these socks at some point. She's got a few different sizes. It looks like she's got 3 sizes: teen, adult small, adult medium, and adult large. The heel is just a traditional heel flap and gusset, and she says it's framed in garter. And the very last pattern I have, I've already done my Christmas video, but this is a Christmas sock pattern, so I had to share. This is the Holly Christmas socks, and it's actually a free pattern. It's a lot like the Holly sweater by Knitting for Olive, but it's like a sock version. And it's free. It does not cost any money. It's only one size. It's got a traditional heel flap and gusset. She kind of says it's less of a pattern and more like a guide on how she created this version. She says you could use your favorite like vanilla sock pattern and use her details and instructions to turn that into a pair of the holly socks. But it's just got the holly leaves, baubles, and it's a very simple, cute little Christmas sock design. I feel like a Christmas sweater can be very intimidating because it takes a long time and then you don't get much opportunity to wear it. But I feel like Christmas socks are a very nice in-between because, you know, you are still knitting something festive, but it doesn't take a long time and you don't feel like you wasted time because you can only wear it like once. You know what I mean? So that's nice. I just thought those are cute. There's not much to say about them, but I really liked those. And with that, those are all the patterns I have to talk about today. Those were the November releases. I wanted to say real quick a little admin thing. I am doing Vlogmas, but I'm doing it weekly. So this week I've been recording a vlog. I'd like to post it this weekend. This video will probably come out alongside of it. And then next week I also want to get out my winter plans because I've actually got all the yarn in for my winter plans. I'm done buying yarn for a while and I am really excited to talk about that. But that is all I have for today. Thank you again to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video. If you liked this video, please give it a like, a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys again next time. Bye!